Warm welcome to all of you. Today we're going to discuss about how to write a quality and a decent UPSC answer. The question here is the quality of lawmaking by the legislatures is generally on declining during the past 2 decades. Do you agree? Substantiate with reasons, discuss its consequences. So, whenever you write a UPSC answer, the first and foremost thing to do is understand the demand of the question. So let's try to understand the demand of the given question. The quality of lawmaking by legislatures is declining during past 2 decades. Do you agree? Substantiate with reasons. First, you go for an introduction. Then, in the body part, you have to take a stand here, like whether you agree to the above statement or not. If you agree, you have to give your reasons and substantiate them. So, whenever you see a keyword substantiate, you have to substantiate your reasons with some examples or data or any reports. So after addressing this part of the question, you have to go for the consequences part. You have to address this part of the question very carefully because this is the core of the question. This is the core. So let's start with the introduction. Lawmaking in India involves formulation, deliberation, and enactment of statutes through parliamentary process shaping the country's legal framework. Okay, in the introduction, lawmaking has been defined. Fine. In the body part, there is a growing concern that the quality of lawmaking in Indian legislatures has been sliding. So this indicates that the aspirant has agreed to this statement, so, and gave the following reasons. The reasons are reduced debate, excessive reliance on ordinances, politicization of lawmaking, inadequate public consultations. Okay, the first point is reduced debates. These are often result of disruptions, poor attendance, and rushed agendas, leaving little room for in-depth analysis. Decent enough. So an example has been given. According to PRS legislative research, the time spent discussing each bill has shrunk from 2 hours in 1950s to 1.5 hours in 2023. So this example, this data substantiated the above reason. So this is how you have to take the question forward. So next, excessive ordinances undermines the legislative role, leading to hurried decision making without holistic discussions. Here, an example should be added, some data should be added. According to PRS legislative research, it says that 2014 2014 to 2018 there are a whopping 58 ordinances passed. A whopping 58 ordinances passed. So this is an appropriate example. So this one is an appropriate example which substantiates this reason. So the next point is politicization of lawmaking. This is politicization. Implies laws are seen as tools for immediate political gain rather than social well-being, leading to hasty drafting. So politicization of lawmaking is a valid point here. And next, inadequate public consultation is one more prime reason for lack of quality in laws. Okay, inadequate public consultation. Here we can write an example: form laws, form bills 2020. So in 2020, government came up with formulas with limited public consultation. So we have seen widespread protests and repercussions. Because of that, the formulas has been repealed also. So this is an appropriate example. So this one is an appropriate example for this reason. In addition to these four valid reasons, we have couple of more valid reasons, so we'll discuss about them also. There are underutilization of legislative committees. For example, in 14th Lok Sabha, 60% of the bills are referred to the committees. But in 17th Lok Sabha, only 27% of the bills are referred to this legislative committees. This is one of the valid reasons, and we have one more important reason, that is ambiguous language, usage of ambiguous language in the laws. Let's say vague wording in the laws, they lead to, many times they lead to multiple interpretations, and they pave way for legal challenges. Let's say, for example, IT rules 2001, they are constantly in news and they are constantly criticized for their ambiguous definitions. Now let's come to consequences part. The consequence of declining legislative quality is far reaching. The first consequence is ineffective laws. Okay, ineffective laws. Flawed legislation hinders progress, creating confusion and even harm. Okay, ineffective laws is a valid point. Erosion of public trust. Public confidence in the legislative process and the rule of law weakens. Exactly, when you draft something hasty, public trust is bound to erode, increasing ambiguities. Poorly framed laws is more vulnerable to legal disputes and ambiguities. Exactly, if there are more ambiguities, legal disputes are bound to arise. So the next point is hampers reputation. India loses its name and fame in the international arena. Obviously, if your parliament or if your legislatures are not functioning well, your reputation is bound to go down. So overall, four consequences has been written. We can write a few more valid consequences. They are economic consequence. Economic consequence must be added here because it's vital. Economic consequence. Regulatory uncertainty affects business environment and investment decisions. Obviously, what about your FPIs? If your parliament is not functioning properly, it's ineffective. What about your FDIs? What about your FPIs? What about the domestic investments? There are a lot of economic challenges. In addition to this, we have one more valid point, which is overburdened judiciary. Obviously, unclear laws increase the burden on courts to interpret and clarify the legislative intent. Yes, so if the laws are not clear, it will be a burden on judiciary. Yes. So the next one more valid point, last valid point, is human rights concerns. So when you pass a law in a hasty manner, obviously you come out with ineffective and ambiguous laws. One such law which is constantly in news, which is constantly criticized for human rights concerns, is UAPA Act 2019. So these are few more consequences which can be written. Now let's come to conclusion. Pay attention to the conclusion here. Course correction. Course correction is the immediate need of the hour in the lawmaking by addressing the gaps. See, the conclusion here is hurriedly wrapped up. It's not holistic. It's not completely done. So let's write a decent conclusion here. Let's write a decent conclusion. So this can be a sample conclusion for this. Addressing this requires a concerted effort to enhance the capacity of legislatures, promote robust debates, and minimize the influence of extraneous factors. Only then the legislatures regain public confidence and effectively serve the nation's interest. So this can be a forward-looking conclusion. So overall, the answer structure is good. The understanding the demand of the question is good, but it lacked a couple of reasons and a couple of consequences. Overall, it's a good attempt, but it is not the best attempt. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys learned something from it. That's it from my side. Thank you so much. Have a productive day.